Super Bowl halftime show performance. Which one do you think the greatest? We just saw Bad Bunny do his thing. Obviously, the year before that, Kendrick did his thing.
Yep.
And then you had Rihanna, you had Usher, you had Michael, you had Prince. There have been some great, Beyonce. We've had some greats. But if you had to, and you probably go back about 20 years. I mean, I think your memory can go back about 20 years, or you remember the best.
Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre, the LA
That was
one,
the
you like
best
that
one. I was in that one. That was the biggest moment. Yeah, I think that one, that if it's not that, it's Michael Jackson.
93 at the Rose Bowl.
I mean, dude, Kendrick and Bad Bunny killed it as well. But yeah, for me, it's always gonna be Dre. Like, that was my era of stuff.
Yeah.
To be on the stage with them.
You remember Prince in Miami?
Prince.
It playing Purple. It started to rain. He's playing Purple Rain, and it starts to rain.
Legendary.
And they had the silhouette, they had the curtain up, and you could just see him. It was just like,
Yep.
You had to be there to see.
Janet. The titty came out.
Oh, that was in Houston.
That was
I think.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was huge.
The Game. How did it work? Because I had Game on the show. In Game, I mean, there's no question he could rap.
Yeah.
I have a lot of other stuff surrounding going along with it.
Yeah. But Game, man, that's my big homie. He really was one of the first people to put me on. Like, right around the time I was working with Dre, Game invited me to work with him, and he had like 80 Bloods in the studio, and he had like 100 models in there. And I had never recorded under those circumstances before. And he got me in the booth, and he said, "Hey, you just spit whatever.
Right.
You go in there." I would come up with something. He said, "Go in the booth, do it." And I spit, and I come out, the whole booth be going crazy, and like, it put the battery in my back. And he's like, you my favorite artist, bro. You gonna make it. I'm gonna get as much as I can with you here, because you gonna blow up after this. And it was crazy, because right after that, man, I was gone.
So what type of studio session? Because some people like it quiet.
Yeah.
Some people like they got models running around.
Yeah.
It's a chaotic scene.
Yeah.
So when you go into the booth, how do you like it?
I go through seasons, man. I go through different things. Honestly, because I work with so many people in different groups, I'm very much a chameleon. So
right.
whatever.
So you can adapt.
I'm easy. I can adapt, because it doesn't take much from me. I could make a record here with this mic,
Right.
But if it's up to me, I like having at least a couple women in the studio. Now, I'm not talking about like, that doesn't mean I'm with them or anything like that. I like the energy.
You like the beauty. You like the
the room gets to a higher frequency,
okay.
and I want to know, like, is this working? Hitting something, and like, I like to make people dance, and I want music to make them feel good and everything. And so I like to see if that is something I'm getting close to,
right.
and also it brings something out of me as well. You know. But I can work, however, I could work with a ton of people in the studio as well, because it's different when you work with a room. If the whole control room is packed with people, then there's certain entertainment show element that goes into that.
Right.
And so you want to get a reaction out of the crowd, and to know that you're doing something right, or doing something that's moving the crowd. And some of these records that we make are for the people, right?
Yes.
For people to move and stuff. So it's cool having that crowdsourcing when we spitting some stuff, then you play in the booth. Oh, that show is fire. This is crazy.
Yeah.
And then it's cool to have stuff where it's just you. You know what I'm saying? Where you have to get real internal and get weird. Because also there's the process where it's not going to sound good at first, and it's going to go from sounding like this to this to this to this, and you got to go through all these different gyrations to get to this.
Right.
And then, oh wait, it's actually this, and then we're starting something completely new. And sometimes that's not the most beautiful process to be able to see, and it's very revealing.
Right.
So I understand like why people might not want that to be seen by everybody, and I'm the same way. When I'm working on something that's really personal that I'm still trying to figure out, or I feel like I need to really tap in. I like it to just be me and my engineer, or honestly, probably just me working in the room, playing the beat 50 million times, or production 50 million times, trying to figure it out. What's the best way I can approach this?
You worked with Haley Stanfield,
Mm-hmm.
that was in Centers, married to Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. What was that experience like?
She was great. Yeah, we just met online, and she was like a big fan. We hung out, and yeah, we was like just hanging out, Met Gala. She was super cool. I didn't know about, you know, her music career or nothing like that before.
I didn't either.
I knew she was
until
in some movies, but I didn't know she was in the music. And she approached me with that record. And you know, people will hit you up for records and they're hit or miss, but that one was nice. I was really surprised and it was cool. And one day we were just partying, we was going out, and we were close to Dre's studio, and I was like, let's just go. I'm gonna try to get something to this, and took her there, and I recorded that verse, and I was telling her, she loved it, and I was telling her, look, I really want to get into film. If I could direct this video, that'd be awesome, because I want to build a reel for when I take it to try to get funding. And she was like, cool, yeah, I'm gonna let you direct it. So she let me direct that music video and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, it was insane.
Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, JT.
What's it like?
It's great.
I mean, he hadn't put out anything in a while, but boy, he had a stretch there when he was working with Timbo.
Yeah.
Everything that whether it was him or he was doing the collab.
Yeah. Justin with Timbo, Neptunes. I mean, he's insane with the boy band, insane. So Justin hit me up when it was for Trolls. And it was dope, man, because he was such a big part. I didn't know how much he had his hands in everything within the movie, within his character he was playing, and then within the music. So it was like his brainchild and what his little project that he was working on, and he was, you know, very serious about it. And he was working, had me in there working with Ludwig, who did the music for Sinners. Yep. And also James Fauntleroy, who's worked a lot and wrote a lot of stuff for Bruno. Right. So I was in there with the Juggernauts, and he was like, yeah, man, I want to get you in here. And we started making these records, and one of the records he left early, and I stayed longer with Ludwig, and we made a record, you know, just messing around. He came back next day, he's like, wait, I think this could be the ending credit song. And it ended up being the ending credit song. And it was like I was working with him for weeks on records, and I was like, man, I want to be a voice on Trolls, like, you know what I'm saying? And he got me in there, and I ended up getting a role on there on Prince D on Trolls 2. Trolls 2, yeah, and I'm like a part of the Funk Trolls, so that was dope.
When you're in the studio, do you know because it goes back and forth. I've heard people say, well, I thought it would be good, but I didn't know it was going to be like this. And then people say, you know, hey, I thought it was going to be this, and it didn't turn out. Do you know when you're in the studio and you're working with someone or you're doing your thing that this is it?
Yeah. You can tell people that are really into it. Some people their mind is somewhere else. Right. Some people, you get in there, they're on their phones, they're preoccupied.
Really?
Yeah. They got other things, ventures and meetings, and they can't focus on it, or they want, it's very transactional. Maybe they want you to do something, but they're not concerned about how we can make the best song possible. It's just a moment, something that they think is good enough, and okay, now we're gonna put it and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, dog, we should work on this a little more. It could be better, stuff like that. Those are the people that I could see that it's like, they're different. Those are the Brunos, and those are JT, and you know, a lot of different acts not a lot. It's kind of, honestly, it's rare that you meet a lot of people like John Bellion. I'm working with now. He's like that. People that want to get in there and fight and dig
and be great.
You know, just and it's less and less people, because it takes a long time. And it's not always fun, and you got to work, and you got to, you know, start over. Corday, someone that I've made a lot of records with, that he's like that as well. But yeah, you can tell, and it's a whole process. But some people know what they want right away, and you do it, and you get different results. But I honestly, I'll be keeping my expectations kind of low, and I just have fun.
Want to join Club Shay Shay? Become an official member by hitting that subscribe button, where you never know who's going to be joining us for drinks and conversation. Don't be late to the party, because you know we like to do something before two something.